this on? Can you hear me? Okay. If the mic doesn't work, I'm a former principal and I have a playground voice. So we're good. So how great is it for all of you to be here for the city of Hawthorne?
One more thing I forgot. Candidates, there's a table out in the front for you to put your information out on the table there so the people in the community can gather your information. All right?
Thank you. Feel free to come back anytime. You're in charge. So I'm Diane Wallace, and I'm very pleased to be a member of the League of Women Voters of the Beach Cities. We include all of the cities that are along the coast and all of the cities that are adjacent to the coast, like Hawthorne and Lawndale and Inglewood and also El Segundo, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, and Redondo Beach. And I was telling them before all of you arrived that this is really my favorite time of year. I have a necklace that I wear that says vote, and I wear it from September through November. And I love going to the high schools and registering students to vote. And when we register students to vote, they can register for any party or a decline to state. And our interest in the league is to ensure voter participation and voting. When is the election, by the way? November 5th. Good. You all passed that part of the test. Well, you can vote early by mail, and you know the secret to that is once you turn in your ballot, either by mail or in one of the boxes in LA County, then you're going to stop getting all the political stuff. Did you know that? Okay, there's a hint. So vote early, and some people say vote often, but not really. Yeah. So we hold forums throughout the South Bay, and we are always immensely pleased to meet with people in the community. And I see we have very young people here, and we have middle-aged people, and we have elderly, and we want all of you to vote. And so we have candidates, and we'll get to you in just a second. But the league I'd like to begin by asking you to turn off your cell phones and put them away so we aren't interrupted by rings and text messages. And I believe this is going to be recorded and live streamed. So we all have to behave because, you never know who's going to see it. So there are a couple of things that you should know. Our candidates at the table this evening are candidates for the city council, and this panel will be followed by candidates for mayor. And we ask questions here from the podium, and we treat everyone the same. And there's no political activity in this room or in this event, and we will hold to that. And all of our forums in the past, for as long as we've been involved, have been civil, as opposed to national politics, which sometimes or often lacks civility. And so it's a nice time for you to get to know the candidates who have volunteered to serve your community, and then you can become a more informed voter and choose people that you think will serve your community well. On my part, I would like to thank the candidates for volunteering to run for office. You've interrupted your personal lives and professional lives to donate your time for the city, and this is a very admirable thing that you're doing, and we all appreciate. Let's give them a round of applause. So we have people that have turned in questions. Basically, the way the forum will go is each of the candidates will have 2 minutes to make an initial statement, and you were informed of that. And then we will start reading the questions. And once they have made their statements, I have, if I can find it, I have a statement to read from another candidate who was not able to be here tonight, and I have 2 minutes to read this statement, and it's 2 pages long. So good luck to me for reading this in 2 minutes. So let's begin. Do any of you have any questions? Any questions? We're good? Okay. So let's go from Johnson to Poindexter and Williams for your beginning statements, your opening statements. So, Ms. Johnson?
Can you hear me? Hi. I see a lot of familiar faces out there and some that I haven't met yet, but hopefully we'll get to know a little bit more about you this evening and you get to learn a little bit about me. My name is Faye Johnson. I am running for city council here in Hawthorne, and I was born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. I grew up in foster care, and being in that kind of a traumatic environment as a child, it kind of put justice and standing up for the underdog in my blood. And so seeing that I wanted to do something greater, serve something greater than myself, I joined the military. And after 2 decades of being in the military, over 2 decades, I retired. And after retirement, I got my real estate license and broker's license and opened up my own office. Did very well with real estate until I went through a divorce and a crisis, a housing crisis in 2008. And so it got to a point where being a single mom, I needed income and not if-come. So I went back into federal service, and I went and started working for the Veterans Affairs down in Long Beach, the hospital down there. And I loved it so much because I got an opportunity to still be connected with the military and serve our veterans. And so I then took a job. I took a job with the VA, but at VA headquarters back in D.C., so that's where I currently work now. But it's remote, so I only go back to D.C. once or twice a year. And so anyway, I'm sorry. That kind of threw me off.
Sorry.
That was 2 minutes that fast? Oh, okay. And so what caused me to want to run for office is I started seeing things around the community that I didn't like, and I had no control over it. My voice wasn't heard, and so I learned in the military that if you don't handle your business, somebody else will, and you're not going to be happy with it, and so I wasn't happy with it. And so I decided to run for office, so that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. I'd like to just interrupt. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. So we have a timer right here in the front, and the timer will let you know how you're doing as far as timing is concerned. And when she puts up the stop sign, you have to stop.
And that was 2 minutes?
It was.
That's fast. Okay, I got to learn how to not run my mouth so much.
Okay, next. Ms. Poindexter.
Can you hear me?
Is it on? Push the button so you see the light.
Red, right? Got me? All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming in, taking time out of your schedule to be a part of the elected process here in our wonderful city. My name is Marie Poindexter. I am the elected city treasurer in the city of Hawthorne. I am the first female to hold my office, and I wear that very proudly. I am the mother of 2 college students. I have a sophomore and a senior, 1 boy, 1 girl. Very proud of them. As I stated, I'm the city treasurer. I'm 2 years into my term as city treasurer. My main responsibility is being in charge of the city's investments and managing the diversity in our funds in which they are invested. I've been an accountant for over 30 years in all capacities. I've been a bank vice president. I've been a staff accountant. I've been a director of finance in my time. 11 years I took a break to be a stay-at-home mom, and so I started working for the school district. I worked for LAUSD and Weisburn Unified School District here in our city. My specialty, I worked in special education with a specialty in autism. So believe me, I know about patience. I am running because I feel that our city needs some type of professionalism on our council. We have seen many things come about, and that does throw you off. There seems to be a lot of self-serving interests on our council, and I think, you know, we need to change that so our city can propel forward. You know, so we can see the things that we want to see in our city. We want to see some change, and we want to see some progress. So I am looking forward to be a part of that, and I want to be a part of that, and I want to see some change happen in our city.
Thank you.
Testing, testing.
You're good.
Let me know when you're timing me. Ready? Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. How many of us have played on a sports team before? Raise your hand. When I think of the word team, I think of trust, empathy, action, and measurement. These are the values that have been the cornerstone of my approach to public service. When you elected me as your city clerk, I embrace these principles, and today, a candidate for city council, I carry these values with me as I continue to serve the community. My educational background, I have a bachelor's degree in communication, a master's degree in education. And those things have equipped me with the skills and knowledge to understand and address the needs of the city. My professional experience working with ABC, Major League Baseball, and the NBA have taught me the immeasurable value of teamwork. These qualifications have shaped my professional journey and helped me to establish very meaningful connections. Quick story, a long time ago I worked for an office supply company, and I had a boss who was very skeptical of large accounts, and I wanted to go after one. After pushing her, she invited me in her office, and together we're going to make this call. So I call up, and this woman answers the phone, and I froze. I didn't know what to say. I said, "Hi, I'm new." And she said, "I'm new too." And we bonded over that. I got the account, but that was an example of teamwork and trusting people. As your city clerk, I've immersed myself in learning the role and serving the city. And if elected to city council, I will bring the same dedication to addressing the pressing issues facing our community. I'm committed to advocating for affordable housing, promoting economic development, and prioritizing the well-being of all residents. I firmly believe that our city has the potential for greatness, and I'm dedicated to working collaboratively to make sure that we unlock our fullest potential. I want us to embrace a new acronym for TEAM. Together, everyone achieves more. And I believe that together we can achieve great things in Hawthorne. Please vote for Dana Williams Hunter. My name is the last on the ballot. Thank you very much.
So it's just fine for you to clap at the end when everyone has answered a question, but we're going to refrain from responding after each person speaks, because if we do that, we'll be here all night, and y'all didn't bring your sleeping bags. So, well, that was very good. Now I get to read Mr. Awadala's speech because he cannot come tonight. So I apologize if I make any mistakes. I'm the president of the Kiwanis Club of Hawthorne, a board member of the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce, and the treasurer for the Hawthorne President's Council. My family moved to Hawthorne in 1987. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to give back to the community. I have served the Hawthorne community in different ways, such as serving at senior luncheons, performing grocery deliveries, providing scholarships to local high school students, the main chef at the Hawthorne Police Department K-9 dinners, community barbecues, and so much more. I've been honored with several proclamations through many organizations, such as the Kiwanian of the Year, the City of Hawthorne Volunteer Appreciation Day. I'm a small business owner. In the line of my work, I transport district students with special needs to and from school. I contribute to the welfare of the community by hiring many local residents with a little over 32 employees. My passion and love for the City of Hawthorne has led me to offer fresh ideas. Number one, volunteering reflects a deep commitment to our community, and I have always been dedicated to being there for ours. Number 2, we need to focus on creating better paying job opportunities or encouraging trade skills. 3, it's essential to ensure our streets are safe and that our police department has the necessary resources as they do an incredible job. 4, revitalizing Hawthorne Boulevard will help attract new businesses to our area. 5, we should invest in our after-school and youth programs to keep our kids safe and support their education. 6, promoting accountability and transparency is crucial for our community's trust. 7, the state of the mall and RFK is quite concerning. We need a strong team to engage with the owners and insist on improvements or a sale. There are more, but I didn't get to the whole thing. Okay, so you have submitted some wonderful questions, and we will begin. And let's begin with you answering these questions. You'll have 1 minute to answer the question, and you'll watch the timer. She'll give you the sign. If you think 2 minutes is fast, 1 minute is half that time, as you know. So let's go in this order from right to left for the first question. Yes. Stop is okay? Okay. So currently, there is no relationship between the city and the school district. What programs will you implement or expand to provide more opportunities for youth engagement and job training within our city? So, 1 minute.
Testing. So I believe that we need to lock arms with some of the unions that have apprenticeship programs and develop a relationship with the school district, and that requires us to actually communicate with the school district. So I believe implementing programs, apprenticeships and things like that with unions and other programs, I think that that's the way to accomplish that. But I think that that requires communication, and it requires a level of respect and camaraderie, and we need to build that relationship with the school district.
Thank you. Next.
Such a hard time with that. So as someone who has worked in the school districts within our city, what I mostly would like to see is even our city council take a interest in our schools. There is a disconnect, and I can say that honestly for someone who's worked in the actual school district, both, not all, 2 of probably 5, I believe. So I would like to see a better connection between city council. Even the police department, I think, could, you know, have an investment in that, because, you know, there are a lot of programs. Each district runs their own after-school programs, and there needs to be some type of inclusion and connection between all the schools. And unfortunately, I do not know that there is a disconnect with all the schools. You have a lot of facets to that, and there's a lot of levels to that on, you know, whether it's management, board, and things of that nature. So me personally, I would like to see city council take a vested interest in the different school districts. Oh, sorry.
I agree that we need to bring in more internships, apprenticeships into our school. I've already been developing a relationship with Gloria Ramos, who's the president of the Centinela Valley School Board. And we've also been dealing with the unions as we go around and interview with them and find out about their programs that they have available for apprenticeships for the school. And they're eager, they're biting at the bit, trying to get into the schools. And so we've been sharing that with Gloria. Gloria's on board, willing to meet, to work with City Council. I also have a connection with the Yacht Club out here in Marina Del Rey. They're eager to get the students over there and let them learn boating. It's right in our backyard, but we don't take advantage of it. And there's tons of programs for the youth. And I think if we work hand in hand with these people who want to, and these organizations that want to get into our schools and help our children and expose them to those kinds of things, that's 100% what we're focused on.
Thank you. So I think for the next question, we'll start with Ms. Poindexter, go to Johnson, and then Williams-Hunter. This question is probably true of every community in the United States. Many residents feel disconnected from local government. What steps will you take to increase civic engagement and ensure transparency in decision making?
So one of the things that I would like to see personally, again, is more engagement with our city council. And even as an incoming council member to be, I would like to hold either quarterly meetings with our residents in the different parts of the cities, because a lot of our cities, even within Hawthorne, are a little disconnected. They have different things that concern them. They have different issues. So I believe going back into the community more and engaging with them, like I said, along with the police department, you would have more inclusion and more participation, because as I've been out speaking to residents, they are often concerned about things that they didn't know was what was going on in our community. And I think it's council's job to inform our community and get them involved. So I would like to see more inclusion and more, meetings and more engagement with them.
Thank you.
When I first started out, I always voted. I always educated myself on the right vote to make, but I wasn't familiar with the process of our government. It wasn't until Olivia started dragging me into the city council and getting into the Veterans Affairs Commission did I understand how it works. And as we go around and do our meet and greets with the mayor and Marie here, we found out that most of the residents don't understand the system either. So we've been educating them how to get into city council, how much time you get to speak. And the challenge is, though, they're afraid to even come and speak because they don't want to be embarrassed, they don't want to be physically threatened, and they don't want to be shamed on national television, because our city council meetings are also on YouTube and streamed live. So residents are afraid. They're afraid to speak up, but we want to change that. With Mayor Vargas and Marie, we're out there letting people know you have a right to be in there and you have a right to speak. So we're going to make sure that people are educated and welcome to come in and speak to us.
Thank you. Just a reminder, no claps until we're done, so we can get more questions. I haven't said the question yet. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, just a minute. Sorry. Right. Many residents feel disconnected from local government. What steps will you take to increase civic engagement and ensure transparency in decision making?
So I am boots on the ground with transparency and dealing with residents who really don't understand the process. I have people that come into my office, they file complaints, they don't understand things, and it is really difficult to reach out to everyone so that everyone understands it. I do believe that there should be some sort of outreach, some sort of community meetings, or some sort of something that allows us to reach people so that they don't feel as intimidated by the process. With transparency, I think it's very important that our council and that our city remains transparent, that people feel comfortable coming in. They can always come into the clerk's office for information, and they do. They can always call City Hall, and they do. And so with that being said, I think that more outreach is needed for us as a council, as a body, as a city, to our residents, so that they don't feel shut out from any processes and that they understand more.
Thank you. I think all of you have done a really good job of asking questions. So here's the next one. So we'll begin with Ms. Johnson, then Poindexter, then Williams Hunter. Next time you'll be first. I won't. It's okay. I go in different order. I have my own little order here. It's a mystery to everyone but me.
I'm fighting for her right to go first.
I appreciate that. But it's okay. I've got you all covered. Okay, so the next question is, what is your stance on charter city, for or against?
That's one of my hot buttons. I'm totally against charter city. The reason being is because once somebody has charter city, the city council now has total access over raising their own salaries, their pay, their pension, their perks, and you also have no bid contracts. We saw how that worked out for the city of Bell. they're still suffering from it. San Bernardino, Stockton, there's other cities that were allowed access to unfettered access to the funds that the city has, and it just hasn't worked out well. I wouldn't vote for it for myself. I wouldn't vote for it for anyone else, and I think we need to respect what the residents want. The residents voted 60% that they did not want a charter city. We don't need to bring it up again unless that 60% flips. And I think the major reason why it didn't pass is because of the salaries, and you can take the salary out all you want, it's still there. They still have the authority to give themselves a full-time salary instead of a part-time stipend, and we don't want them to have a full-time salary. We don't need full-time counsel.
My stance on Charter City, you know, we already shot it down 60%, like she said. I think one of the reasons that it did is because there wasn't enough education about it. We didn't inform our residents about it. And yes, a good portion of it was about salaries and a lot of other things. But I think when we want something to pass or not, there has to be an education. We have to inform people. We have to let them know, what is this all about? There are a lot of highlights to take away out of, you know, with regard to the charter. I just don't think our city was ready for it, and they probably won't be ready for it for a while. But I think if it comes up again, I think there needs to be better education to our citizens about it. Everybody has their own takeaway, but do you really know what it's about? There are a lot of things involved with that. I mean, people throw in eminent domain, and that's just a thing that can't happen with certain things.
I do agree with Marie on that. I think that there needs to be education when it comes to that. I don't necessarily understand exactly everything that has to do with a charter myself, so I need to be educated on that as well. I cannot say whether or not I would vote yes or no on it because I don't understand exactly what that means. I've heard things about raising the salary, and I've heard things about, you know, eminent domain and things like that. I'm not exactly sure that all those things are true or false. But I do add that council members actually will receive a raise. They do receive a raise periodically, and I believe it's once a year that they receive a raise anyway. So I don't think that having a salary and a charter should be that at all. I think that should be taken completely out of it, and that you know, we can educate the community. And I think there needs to be robust conversations, and I don't think it should be on the ballot next time. I think maybe the following time, if people are ready for it. But if the community says no, I'm the voice of the people, I say no too.
Thank you. So now we'll start with you, and then we'll go to you, Johnson, and then Poindexter. See? Okay, so this person asked 2 questions, but I'm going to ask them one at a time. What are your ideas for making Hawthorne a more sustainable and environmentally friendly city?
Well, a few things. I think we need to clean up a lot of the trash, and we also need, and all of our households need to become more recycle friendly. I think that that is a start. I also think that us cleaning up Hawthorne Boulevard and creating more green space is something that we should consider as well. Those things make us more sustainable and definitely climate friendly.
Okay, Johnson?
I believe in responsibility with our environment, with our planet that we've been given. I believe that the current waste management company is they actually have AI that can detect whether or not you're putting things in your recycle that you shouldn't be, and vice versa, if you're putting stuff in the green that shouldn't be in the green and things in the garbage that shouldn't be in the garbage. And so there is technology out there that can help us be more green and more environmentally friendly for the city. I think we need to clean the city up, not only with the trash and the streets, but we also need to clean up our facilities, our buildings, and our businesses that are no longer there. It just brings about people that are hanging out and leaving trash and garbage. The more homeowner ownership that we can have in our communities also brings about the pride of ownership, and the communities stay cleaner, and people have an investment in the community.
Thank you.
My turn.
Keep going. Sorry.
So, um, you know, in environmental issues, I think we need to take personal responsibility a lot of times. I hear a lot of complaints from, oh, my neighbor does this, my neighbor does that. Sometimes it starts in our own home. So, yes, I think we do need to take a personal responsibility to be an environmentally friendly. Many of you know there's going to be a new city hall being built, and that is going to be somewhat environmental friendly. Those considerations have been taken into constant as it's going to be constructed. So Hawthorne is trying to move along that way and do its part in that. However, understand and being environmentally sound comes at a cost. As you all know, I'm a numbers person, so that's just where I think of it at. That type of initiative would cost the city a lot of money. But there are other things out there, grants and whatnots, the state and the county, they do these, they have these funding sources for that.
Thank you. So the next question will go Poindexter, Johnson, and Williams Center. What are your plans for addressing the affordable housing crisis in Hawthorne, and how will you work to ensure that housing is accessible to all income levels?
Affordable housing, that's one of my hot topics. So we have currently affordable housing in Hawthorne. I think we need to re-examine that term. I personally stay in an affordable housing building that is not actually affordable for the average person. I'll say that. So I think we need to learn to re-examine these terms, and we need to know, and we need to dig deeper into the building developments that we have coming into our city who promise these things but don't deliver. They do not deliver. I can attest to that personally. There's always some type of bait and switch. And you have to be careful when you say affordable housing as well, because who is it affordable to? And I think we need to take a harder dive into these people who come in our city and build these type of developments, and they don't hold true. So I think that's something we need to pay attention to as we allow these businesses in our city.
Well, there's a couple of things. I 100% agree with Marie in that we need to be careful about affordable housing. Affordable to who? And we do need, as a city council, when we allow these developments to come in, like a stack and pack, we need to look at infrastructure too, because we have these stack and packs and now we have nowhere to park, or they're charging extra for parking, or they're forcing you to use public transportation in order to stay in these buildings. And so we need to make sure that whatever agreement we make is not with the builder, it's with the building. So the agreement follows the building, not the builders, because they build it and flip it, and now we got a new owner, and they don't have to abide by the agreement that we made. So we need to look at, is it really affordable? Affordable to who? And then we need to make sure that those contracts that they've agreed to, those stipulations that they agreed to when we signed off on them coming to our city, that they actually follows the building and it benefits our residents.
So I believe that we need to have more affordable home ownership, not necessarily just more apartment buildings. I think that we need mixed-use properties on down Hawthorne Boulevard. I think sort of like what's happening on Crenshaw Boulevard. I do believe that we need to have more housing here in order to deal with the housing affordability issue. Supply and demand. There are a lot more people than there are apartments, and so the price goes up. If we build more properties here, if we have more home ownership here, that I think would make things more affordable for people here in Hawthorne.
Thank you. Okay, so now we'll go Johnson, Williams Hunter, and Poindexter. What is your vision for future redevelopment projects?
Future redevelopment projects. Well, part of the challenge that we have with that is we don't have a whole lot of land here in Hawthorne to deal with. So when you talk about redevelopment, we're talking about City Hall, which is already underway. It's going to be redeveloped, and it's going to be actually very beautiful. As far as the rest of the city, I think we need to do a whole refacing of the Hawthorne Boulevard. We need to get ready for the Olympics. We need to get ready for anything that Inglewood is putting on that's huge. We need to go ahead and be in a position to benefit from that. And that means we need to come alongside of our businesses and help those buildings not look abandoned, not look like trash, basically. We need to be a community that people want to come into and want to spend time here. And that's gonna involve the city putting some money out there, putting some dollars out there to help these things come to pass.
Sorry.
So I believe that we need to
Yes. What is your vision for future redevelopment projects?
Hawthorne Boulevard, period. We need to start there. Hawthorne Boulevard is a mess, and we need to clean that up. And that would be, you know, we can start anywhere. City Hall is definitely going to be nice, but what good is it to have that nice building on a street with closed, abandoned properties and boarded up places and things like that, and empty yards where there's trash and homeless people living? We have to start with Hawthorne Boulevard. That is our downtown. We need to create more space for people to come in, to come to a restaurant or come to something. We need to create that space. So that would be where I would start, Hawthorne Boulevard.
Thank you. Well, this person has a second question as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Keep
I'm just
forgetting about
moving
me.
us
I
along.
know. So redevelopment, you know, there's a lot of ways to look at it. Yes, we do. I agree, need to clean up Hawthorne Boulevard, but there's so much more than that. We have a lot of, you know, vacant land. You know, we want to see that developed. But the way to do that, you know, a lot of people don't realize when you tune in to city council and whoever wants to come and redevelop any spot in our city, they tune into our council meetings. And so if you look at one of our council meetings, there's not always an agreement. There's not a sense of unity. So who wants to do business with our city? Who wants to come in and redevelop if they can't get along and see the people that's working together that should be working together? So a lot of that has to be done inside out. You know, we have to look internally first. So how can we develop out if we can't even agree on anything on the inside? So that's the way I would approach, you know, redevelopment. We all could use it. We all know the areas that could use it, and we know how to get it done.
Thank you. My apologies. So, for the next question, we'll start with you, go to you, and then you. So this person has two questions as well. With limited resources, how would you how would you prioritize spending to address the city's most pressing needs? With limited resources, how would you prioritize spending to address the city's most pressing needs? It's a tough question.
Yeah, it is, because I would need to know what is the priority. Everybody's priority is going to be different. So that's a sort of hard question to tackle. What would I prioritize? Like most of us up here, we just said Hawthorne Boulevard. Well, let's prioritize that. We could prioritize the old RFK space. So I'm not quite understanding of, you know, what, I guess I would have to have an idea of what they wanted to prioritize. Sorry.
Sorry, it's not my question. Go ahead.
Again, to echo what Maurice says, I don't understand what they would consider to be the most important thing. You know, that's a very difficult question. I would just say, you know, everyone will come up with something different, but, you know, my take would be that emergency services would be first. You know, the livelihood and the well-being of everyone in the community would be the first priority. So that, you know, with limited funds, I don't know exactly what that would be or how we would spend it or what we would be spending it on, but, you know, I would say the safety would be our number one priority for anyone.
The first thing that we need to do before we spend a dime is untie the hands of our police department. Giving them the resources that they need and not allowing them to do what they need to do in our community by handling the criminal element in our community. Why are we spending money? But if we can untie their hands, then we can spend the money on the police, on our safety, just like these two ladies said. I agree 100% with them. But we have to untie the hands of our police department first with some laws that will support them in doing their jobs.
Great. So now we'll go 1, 2, 3. What moved you to run for city council?
I think I touched on it a little bit when I did my opening statement. Getting involved, I saw things happening that I didn't necessarily agree with, but I don't have a voice. And along with other people in the community, talking with other people, they didn't feel like they had a voice either. And so after a while, you sit there and say, I hope somebody runs. I hope somebody does this. I hope somebody does that. But after a while, you got to look inside yourself, and you either got to put up or shut up. And those who know me know I don't know how to shut up. So here I stand, trying to do better for the community and be a voice for the community, because I really feel like the community's voice is currently not being heard. Where if you have something to say that's contrary to what city council wants to do or is currently doing, you get demeaned and threatened, and it's just an embarrassing situation. And like what Marie was saying, if businesses are looking at that, developers are looking at our city council to see if they want to come do business with us, it's very embarrassing. And we need to bring professionalism to our council.
So I am running because as the city treasurer in its current state, I don't have a voice. And so many times I sit there in the council meetings, and there are questions that aren't asked, there are things that aren't said, and I want to interject on that. I want to have a part in that. And a lot of what I see is, like I said, it can be self-serving, and it can be unprofessional, and not even business-minded sometimes. It's just a matter of how they might feel that day, or whatever the breeze is blowing in. Someone says yes, that person's going to automatically say no. So I wanted to have a say-so. I wanted to be a part of the process, because I've even been, it's even been said by a council member that my seat is ceremonial, that it doesn't, and it diminishes my seat as well. So I want to speak from a place, I want to represent the rest of us who have those questions. We want those questions answered. We want to see, some type of responsibility.
There we go. I'm running because I'm a public servant. I actually am on the ground, even though my position is also ceremonial. I am there every day, immersing myself in the culture and learning everything about the city that I can learn. Being on council or being in the clerk's position for 2 years and learning about how council works, I know that I have the temperament, I know that I have the energy, I know that I am a good negotiator, and that I believe in team. I am a team player, and you cannot do it alone. You have to do it collaboratively, and I am that person to do that.
Thank you. So let's go 1, 2, 3. What, if any, plan is there, or do you have, to develop the mall?
The mall is, it's been there for 25 years? And so that has to be a negotiating, that needs to be a negotiated process as well. I believe that the right leadership could have possibly taken care of that mall several years ago, but it's still there. And so there's a disconnect between that owner and the city, and that needs to be fixed somehow. Again, teamwork, negotiation, collaboration, those are things that we need on city council in order to make sure that we get this mall taken care of. It should have been gone a long time ago.
What I will say about the Hawthorne Mall, that situation right now is sitting comfortably with the city attorney. He is handling that situation, and there are steps being made to move that forward. The city, that's an ongoing lawsuit with the city, so it's really hard to say. That developer is, as we all know, is in prison right now. So that property, Unfortunately, I personally don't see it being developed for another probably 5 to 10 years down the line because he wants too much money for it. Our city can't afford it. However, we have to be somewhat, a little bit more progressive in trying to attract someone else to maybe take it off his hands. But I know that is definitely a situation that is really already currently being handled legally with the city attorney's office.
I totally agree with Marie. The city attorney's office is currently working on that to hold the owner's feet to the fire, to try to either have them clean it up, fine them, force them to sell it. Whatever we can do legally, we're already doing that. I think a lot of people think that the city can do eminent domain, but there's a lot that goes along with the eminent domain. You can't just take somebody's property from them just because you want to. You actually have to have a plan for the property. It has to benefit the city. You have to have the money to give them fair market value, $210,000 just for the building. If you want to tear it down, that's how many other hundreds of millions, and to redevelop it, how many other hundreds of million. So we don't have, the eminent domain is not something that we could take advantage of. But the city attorney is currently filing lawsuits. I did my declaration, my daughter did her declaration to try to help him support his lawsuit in order to get the owner to do something with the property other than let it sit there.
So let's go 1, 2, 3. How do you feel about legal marijuana dispensaries and why?
Legal, how I personally feel, I don't think our city was ready for that. A lot of our citizens have been currently concerned about it, its locations, its representation. It's a saturated market. It wasn't necessarily needed in our city because surrounding cities already have it. So I do echo that consensus of the many, citizens of our city who didn't want to see it here. And I just think it doesn't really have a place. But it is here, and it's not much we can do about it now, unfortunately. But, I echo its concerns, and I was concerned, too, as a citizen.
I would like to take the opportunity to set the record straight on one thing that council currently says is that the citizens voted on this. No, we did not. We did not vote. The city council voted to bring in marijuana dispensaries. What we voted on was if they are here, would we want to tax them? Anybody in their right mind would say yes to that. That was not saying that you can come and build dispensaries in our neighborhood. The dispensary that's in my neighborhood is on the corner of Inglewood and Imperial. When I first saw it go in, I felt really bad for the condos that are right behind them because their property values plummeted down. And when they put the mural up from stem to stern, there goes my property values. So, and I'm a real estate broker, so I know. We can disagree all you want, but numbers don't lie. I don't see a benefit to having dispensaries in the community. All it does is benefit the city council in that it puts money in our pockets.
So as far as the dispensaries go, I believe in economic development. Let's be clear about that. However, how we get there is another story. So if the residents of Hawthorne do not want dispensaries, then I would say no. But they're there, so there was a vote, and that vote was yes, to bring them into the community. I do believe that it is an economic advantage for the city at this point. However, I do say I don't want to see dispensaries all over the city. I don't think that would be right either. So I would just echo a little bit of what you're saying in that, I don't know if there was anything funny about the vote itself. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember the ballot itself. But I say that economic development is important, and how we get there, can be sometimes a little bit tricky. It just means that we have to talk more, we have to communicate more, we need to collaborate more, and hear more voices from the people in the community as far as what we need to do in order to develop more funds.
Thank you. So let's go 1, What specific steps will you take to promote teamwork on the city council?
Well, without violating the Brown Act, you know, when things come up that there may be points of contention, usually if you know the people that you're working with, you know what their triggers are, you know what they're going to be upset about. Having a one-on-one conversation with someone to talk through issues, I think, is first. Also, we need to have more respect for one another, collectively speaking, and respect others' differences and, you know, the similarities. We're probably more alike than we are different. You know, even in thoughts, sometimes you talk with someone and you realize, oh, wow, we're saying the same thing. We're just saying it in two different ways, and it sounds like we're on opposite sides, and we're really not. So I think there needs to be more respect. I think there needs to be, you know, more communication, more civil communication, and definitely more, you know, more communication amongst us as politicians.
Teamwork. I had recently, not too long ago, talked to Pastor Greg. I said, you know, sometimes I think, and I don't know if any of you have tuned into the council meetings, and there's prayer, you know, before that meeting is actually started. I said they need to pray before they even enter the chambers, because sometimes we need to let go of what we're holding on to before we even walk through those doors and sit down and try to address citizens. So I think teamwork needs to be done again from the inside. We have to start inward. The city manager does a great job trying to promote, you know, team leadership, team ideas, you know, trying to connect the departments, trying to make sure there's open dialogue. And I personally support it, and I would like to see a little bit more of it. I could even tell you personally from the outside in, I think there needs to be a lot of team building, even on between the city council members. You know, everything is so disconnected, and you just want to see some type of unity in that seat.
Well, I have to fall back on my military career, and I was always told if we wanted you to have feelings, we would have issued them to you. If we wanted you to have an opinion about somebody else or who you have to work with, we would have issued it to you. You have a mission. When you're elected, you were elected to do a job. Nobody asked you how you felt about it, because we assumed when we elected you that you wanted to do the job, because not only did you run for the job, you actually spent money to get this job, and now you don't like it. Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. You have a mission. Hawthorne first. Your feelings, we need to put our feelings in our pockets. We need to stop being so sensitive, and we need to be focused on the mission. I don't have a problem with team building. I'm good with team building. We can do team building. I think it's important. But if we're spending more time on team building than Hawthorne first, we need to elect a new council.
Okay, so we have time for one more question and then closing statements. So here's a question. How much time are you prepared to spend, number one, to prepare yourself for meetings, number two, attend city functions, and three, interface with constituents? So let's go 1, 2, 3.
Again, I have to go back to what the mission is. If you run for this office, you spend money to get this job, you need to show up on time, you need to show up prepared, because that's what we elected you to do. You need to spend whatever time is necessary. Some weeks you may need to spend more. Some weeks you may not have to do a whole lot because it's a quick in and out city council meeting. So each time it could be different, but the principle, the mission is the same. You promised the people that you would do this job. Do your job. There is no question about it. The mission comes first. And the mission is be prepared when you get to your meetings, show up to your meetings on time, show up. And part of showing up is you're prepared.
Repeat that one more time. Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
How much time are you prepared to spend, 1, to prepare yourself for meetings, 2, attend city functions, 3, interface with constituents?
So with regard to preparing for city council meetings, you know, luckily the clerk's office releases that agenda a week beforehand, and many a times I've seen where council members don't read it till the time they sit down in front of it. And I think, how can you be prepared for this meeting if you had a week to read what the meeting was going to be about? You know, so I think, yeah, one, and I've often enough said it, like, read the agenda. It comes out a whole week. So being prepared to do things like that, you have to, it's part of the job. And I just really think that's important. I've seen it time and time again. They're flipping pages. They're like, what? Like, what's going on? And it's like, no, you had a whole week to prepare yourself for this meeting. And I think, you know, as far as like city venues, I love coming to city venues. They're a part of the job. You know, you're supposed to get out and you're supposed to interact and you're supposed to be around community members.
So my situation is a little different. I'm boots on the ground. I am there all the time, even though I'm ceremonial. Sometimes I'm there longer than staff is there, 10 hours, sometimes more, depending on if it's a food drive day, because I do a food drive at the city. I believe that I would have plenty of time to actually read the agenda. I do now because I prepare the agendas. So I think that reading the agendas would be very easy, and spending the time to do that you know, is very important. I also believe that council members should have office hours, whatever they are. Some people work full-time jobs. I'm lucky enough that I have my businesses that I run, and I'm able to be at City Hall. I think that council members need to have hours that they can be reachable by the residents so that they can address issues. So I think that how much time, as long as it takes, in order to understand what it is that you're reading, and in order to understand the issues at hand, and in order to come to the council meeting prepared and ready to have a conversation and actually vote on things that matter to the residents.
Thank you. So we've come to the end, and the candidates now have 1 minute to make their final statements to you. And at the end, let's all give them a hand, because it seems to me that Hawthorne's very lucky to have some good candidates here. So let's begin this way and go that.
So I would like for us to all echo together, team, together everyone achieves more. I think collaboratively, we need to work together to make things happen in Hawthorne. No more disrespect and treating people poorly. I think we all need to come together as humans. We are more similar than we are different, treating each other with respect and respecting our differences and differences of opinion, because one person doesn't agree with me doesn't mean that they're my enemy. It just means that they have a difference of opinion. And sometimes that means we talk until we come together and we figure out a midpoint. So with that being said, I just want to thank you all for coming out, and thank you all for considering me for City Council. Thank you.
Again, thank you all for coming out. Again, thank you for your support. My name is Marie Poindexter. I would love to have your support and your vote for City Council. I am running for City Council because, like I said, we need some professionalism and business-minded individuals in our council. We need to be able to move our city forward. We want to get those things that we all want to see in our city, and we need to stop a lot of the bullying politics that's been going on in our city. We need to put a stop to it, and we need to bring some type of unity or balance, you know, whatever it is, but we have to be professional to propel the city forward. So I would appreciate your consideration and your vote, and I thank you all for coming out this evening.
Hawthorne first. That's what we need to do. You deserve a city council that understands that their job, their mission is Hawthorne first. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter about your feelings. We need to be professional. We need to get the job done. And in doing so, the citizens, it's going to develop into everything. It's going to develop into community. It's going to bring us together closer, because then you trust being able to come up and talk to us and tell us how you feel about what's going on. We shouldn't feel, as council, we should never feel like we're the smartest person in the room. There's tons of people out here right now that know better in a certain topic than I ever will. So why aren't we reaching out to you? Why aren't we allowing you to have a voice in a project or something that we're doing? So I 100% believe in transparency. I believe that the community has a voice. The community needs to be free to voice their opinion to our council without being afraid of retaliation or being someone bullying them. So vote for Faye Johnson.
Thank you to the audience. Give us a few minutes. We have to set up for the mayor's quorum. Oh, okay. I don't know. Let me check. Okay. Okay, find him. There's one here that says for the mayor, so I'm going to pull that out. Okay, good. Okay. 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 Thank you.
Test, test, 1, 2.
And there's one more in here somewhere. Hello. Okay. Absolutely. Go go to our website. It's League of Women Voters of the Beach Cities. And you can become a member. You pay $60 and okay. We'd be glad to have you join us. We're always looking for members. Hello. New questions. The same questions? Sure. Find it. I have, ask the, oh, I don't know where he is. Ask the guy at the back. Or maybe the minister, he knows. Okay, we're good.
Can I get your attention just for one moment?
How do you, okay.
Can I get your attention for just one moment? Can I get your attention for just one moment? There's the question is, how can you connect with the live stream? The live stream is on Del Air Baptist Facebook page and also on the Del Air Baptist YouTube page. What is the other one? Yeah. So you can connect with us by going to the Del Air Baptist Facebook page or going to the YouTube page, and it's being streamed live that way.
Okay. these? These are new. Sure. Just a minute.
I want to congratulate you guys. This is the best I've seen. And I've been to a lot of them over the years.
Oh, good. Good.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
I want to compliment you. And it doesn't
I
come.
love doing this. I'm doing it again over at the elementary school for the same candidates.
You talking about the Hollywood?
Yeah.
What day and time is that going to be?
I don't know. I can look at my phone.
Yeah. And maybe you can make that announcement so
Yeah.
everybody understands. Okay, see, this is the one I had in the mall. So there was, mine's a little different approach.
Okay. I really need you to not deal with these. I have to.
See, there was one that was on our.
If I can be of help to you later in the future.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, blank.
Oh, yeah, it's a blank. You're more than welcome to take another card and give it to me.
Yeah, the RFK one was missing.
Actually, give it to this lady right here in the blue.
I'm much more active than I would normally want to be.
Okay.
But I have to. We're at a crossroads right now. And this country needs it.
We do, don't we? I believe so. Let me look. Let me go through these. I don't know. He's in charge of mics. Ask him. Do we have 4 mics or just 2? Do you have an additional one? Okay. Okay, I really need you to not be dealing with the cards so that I can deal with them. If you want to write another card so we ask your question, that's fine. That lady right there in the white jacket has a blank card.
So I hope you can answer that. That's very important because I am one of the community leaders here in that team. So I appreciate your.
Okay, well, all the questions can get asked if we have time. Testing. Well, maybe I have it.
Test. Test, test, test. 1, 2.
Right here.
Huh? Oh, it's one of those things that explodes. Remember to hear about that?
So you good. No, it's not.
Testing 1 2.
Okay.
But it's
Just talk natural.
testing
It'll-
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, just talk natural. It'll pick
Testing 1 2. Can you hear me, Jerry? Can you hear me?
I'll turn it up a little bit when I get it up there.
It's your home microphone.
Give us about 2 more minutes. He wants to replace the batteries.
I'm sitting back here because I might have to duck out, but I'm gonna listen to your opening statement.
Marie? Quick question? I want to ask you something. So what did we go from 5 million to what? 95?
We're actually teetering 100 now.
Okay, so what percentage is that? Give me a number, dude. Safe. Roundabout.
That's almost like 80%.
No, I thought it was like 1700% or some shit like that.
I mean, if you look at it from, I'm sorry, I'm having a hot flash.
The fucking. I'm on this mic, dude. I'm on this mic. They gave me.
Oh, you guys are mic'd?
They can hear me, so.
Wow. So oh, that's 19.
No? Okay. 100. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, you guys were solid. Testing 1 2. Hi.
Yeah, go. I tried it. I thought of it and I tried to. I know, but like she says, that they take it and they're
Test 1.
So we're almost ready to be testing. We're almost ready to begin. If you could take your seats, and if the mayoral candidates could come to the front.
Look at my pen. Una pluma. Una pluma.
¿Con cuál estás?
Just give me one.
Que no traigo. ¿Con cuál estás escribiendo? I can give you this for notes.
What's up, man? Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2 1 2. Does this one work? Let's just share it, man. I don't want to be in this. I'm gonna take this off. Just put it in. Okay? Okay. Is it good?
I would turn that off though. Yeah. You turn this one on.
You feel what's up?
test, test.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Just pin that on the scarf there.
While they're fixing the microphones for
Okay,
the
I'll speak.
candidates, is
Good
there anyone
evening.
who wasn't here earlier for
Good
the
evening.
Okay.
city council
Thank you very much.
candidates?
So just leave
Okay,
that
so
there.
you're
He'll
all
mute it from
abstain.
back there.
Sounds
Okay.
great.
And then, I don't know.
So Kyle, come move this for me.
Yes, ma'am.
I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it's like this, it's muted. So if you want to talk, it'll be red. It'll be good to go. Okay. And then oh yeah, I told you this. And then just to let you know, so if it's grayed out like this, it's muted. If you want to go live, just press the button. When it's red, it's good to go. Okay. All right.
I will not move it from there.
I don't know how we can read
So I
notes
think
from
we
it.
are ready to begin. Thank you all for staying for the second part of our forum. These are our candidates for the mayor of Hawthorne. So for those of you who weren't here, you will have 2 minutes. I'm Diane Wallace, by the way, and this is one of my favorite things to do all year, because look at all the people you have here who are interested in Hawthorne, in our local city government, which I know that our national elections take a lot of time on the news, but what in my mind really works is local government. So in advance, thank you all for running for the mayor of Hawthorne. You will each have 2 minutes to make an initial statement, and then we have some questions that have been submitted by the audience, and I will be reading those, and you will answer them in a random order, and you'll have 1 minute to answer each question, and then at the end you can have 1 minute for a final statement. We have our League of Women Voters timekeeper right here, and when she holds up the stop sign, you have to stop, just like we do in your city streets. Stop at the stop sign. So, let's begin with your opening statements, and let's go left to right.
Good evening. I hope everybody's well. Want to thank the League of Women Voters for moderating this event. Thank the pastor for providing the space, and I want to thank the community for coming out and just participating in this process. My name is Councilman David Patterson, and obviously I'm running for mayor of Hawthorne. A little bit of my background. I was first elected here in the city of Hawthorne in 2013 as the city treasurer, re-elected in 2018, and then was elected to the city council in 2020. And now, at the end of my term, I'm choosing to run for mayor. I'm very proud of the work that I've done for the city over the years, mostly focusing a lot on our finances, changing how our money's invested, how we account for our money, how we budget our money, how we report our money. I think it's really made a big impact on the financial growth of our city over the years. And my background really is in finance and it's in business. I've been an investment advisor for 20 years, real estate broker for 20 years, been involved in over $150 million worth of real estate, commercial real estate transactions. Currently the chief deputy treasurer for the city of Carson, and we invest about $200 million worth of the city's monies. And worked as a business owner and business consultant over the years as well. My educational background's along the same lines. I have my bachelor's in business administration from USC. I have my master's in organizational development, and just recently completed my PhD in business psychology. Running for mayor because I have a vision for Hawthorne to be business friendly, to serve all its residents and to be accessible to everybody. I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party, our senator, Assembly Member Mike Gibson, many local elected officials, including Jim Butts of Inglewood, that mayor over there, as well as a lot of businesses in the community. And I hope to have your vote on November 5th.
Good evening, wonderful, good neighbors, the city of Hawthorne. Thank you so much for coming out. I am Lethelle Williams. I am not new to this community. I am a prior business owner of Big Lisa's Beauty Supply. I also ran for city council in the year of 2009, which led me to be glued to our community, to push our community forward. I have a background in business management from college, and I am a parent of 2 college grads that is embedded and graduated from this wonderful city. And I come to you this evening to make history. It is time for Hawthorne to rise above and be the first lady mayor that holds the seat to move this community, continuing moving this community forward. Thank you for having me here.
Good evening. Does it work? Yeah. Good evening. First of all, I want to start off by thanking the League of Ladies, the women voters, the Delaware Baptist Church for having us here in the community, for coming out. My name is Luciano Aguilar, and I'm running for Hawthorne mayor because I'm a longtime resident. My wife and I grew up in this community. We went to the local schools. We raised our family here. We sent our kids through the school systems, through the public school systems here in Hawthorne. I am a board member of the Hawthorne School District for the last 12 years. I'm a military veteran. I've served my country overseas. And I ended my career in the military protecting both President Clinton and President Bush. So I understand what it is to serve, and I want to bring that type of service back to the community. I want to bring family values back to our city. It's lost. You could see that just walking in any business or any home and talking to the residents and or business owners. I want to be that voice for them. I want to fight for them. This is what I do. I create opportunities, and so I'm here asking for your support so we can move Hawthorne forward together. I don't want to do this alone. I lead with my family, and so when you lead in that way, there's nothing you can do that is going to be a decision that's going to be wrong, because your family is always tied to every decision that you do. Any decision that I make not only impacts you, but it also impacts me and my kids. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Can you guys hear me? Testing 1 2. Hi everyone. Can I get a little bit more? I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this event. My name's Alex Vargas. I am your current mayor. Born and raised in the city of Hawthorne, 71. That's about 53 years here that my parents decided to make Hawthorne their home. Educated in Hawthorne schools, St. Joseph, went to local St. Bernard High School, Bishop Montgomery. Those are names that are familiar to you. My family still lives in the city, so I'm very happy about that. That's why I'm very protective of our city, because my family, your family, and our friends live here. I have a master's and a bachelor's in physics, worked as an aerospace engineer, and now I'm a teacher. I teach in the jails to adult inmates, math and science. Our economy right now has risen from when I started in 2015, from $5 million at a low point, up to what it is now, $100 million in the reserves. That's about 1,700% increase that we have had. We need to protect that. And we're at danger of losing that if we don't make the right choices come November. Very protective about that. Why? Because we have a current council majority that talks about how to increase your pay, how to pad your pensions, and how to increase the perks of being a council member, flights, parties, whatever the heck. So many things. Instead of the important things that we should be talking about, which are what concerns you and has affected you as Hawthorne residents, which is the homelessness issue. I'm about Hawthorne first, and we need to protect you, but also being very careful in how we address those issues. We also need to maintain public safety and even increase it from where it is right now to make sure that we're even safer than we are. And also, the affordable housing issue has been something that's been on everybody's mind. So that'll only come with the change, with the new majority of myself, Ms. Marie Poindexter, and Ms. Faye Johnson. So we'll talk about that during this discussion.
Thank you very much. So I want to remind you about putting away your cell phones. And we're still live streaming this on your church's Facebook page. Is that correct? And YouTube channel. We don't want to forget YouTube. You can't forget YouTube. So I would be a digital immigrant rather than a digital native. My daughter would be the native. So we'll begin with the questions. Our timekeeper is wondering if you have 1 minute to answer. Would you like a 15-second reminder or just a stop? You guys okay with the 15 seconds? Okay. Okay. So I'll read the question while she's getting out the 15 seconds. Here's a question about the RFK Medical Center. Since 2004, when the hospital closed in Hawthorne, there have been others that have shut down and reduced health care to people in Los Angeles County, and I'm assuming in Hawthorne. Will you work to bring a major hospital with a full range of health care services for the city of Hawthorne and the region? So let's begin this here and go that way. 1 through 4.
Well, this topic's very important. RFK is owned by an individual named William Hassan, Bill Hassan, the famous Bill Hassan. And it's very important to build another hospital. And this is a perfect opportunity. We also need entertainment, commercial options to be able to shop and to dine and to be able not to have to go outside of the city. This would be the perfect location, not only when it comes to a hospital, but all these other things. But the owner is holding us hostage. He's already been approved for housing, a moderate amount, about 17 units per acre. He wants to have 100 units per acre. And he's holding us hostage so that he has the right combination on the council to make that happen. So that's why we have to be very careful about the decision you make in November. This person is a dangerous man. He's an unscrupulous developer that we need to be very careful of. If I could, I would put a hospital, but somebody's standing in our way.
I agree that we need a hospital. There was a time that Kaiser was very interested in building and putting in a clinic here at the Hometown Buffet, and for some reason they were chased away and discouraged from opening up. And so we need to change the dynamic of the current city council to make sure that these individuals can come in and provide the resources. I will tell you this. It's a beautiful thing to be able to be elected as 5 individuals and come together with a consensus. Bringing 3 people in together will create chaos because everything that one person wants is going to be done without any repercussions or without anybody being able to say anything. So you need to be careful about that voting that way. Thank you.
It's a wonderful question to be asked for as healthcare. My mission is to welcome in a mental health care center, which is definitely needed for the veterans and the homeless in our community. Without this healthcare center in our community and the people that has been housed in the hotels and our veterans that is homeless, our city has really lost out because this healthcare center, mental health care center, it broadens a lot of people and gets them ready to come back into the working environment among us. In different ways, it would be a big benefit for our community, and that is one of my top missions, is getting with our local government. And our our higher government needs to stop giving tax dollars to these abandoned properties. It goes from way above local government.
I think I'll stand as well. So I absolutely support bringing a full-service hospital to the city of Hawthorne. The location, I don't think is really the question. It's about having a city that is pro-business and it would like to invite something like that into our city. The spirit of Hawthorne has not been pro-development, it's not been pro-business. Kaiser has been chased out of our city actually twice over the last decade, and it makes zero sense. We need to take a position that we want business to come into our city. And we need to be smart with working with our developers so we can create win-win scenarios. You know, it's easy to paint companies or developers as all bad when you don't know how to have a conversation with those individuals or know how to put together a strategy that works for all people. And so I would 1,000% reach out to Kaiser and try to bring them back to our city.
Thank you. So the next question will be answered by starting with Mr. Aguilar, going this way, and then coming back to Mr. Vargas. With keeping in mind that there are hopes to create a vibrant and dynamic downtown area regarding the Hawthorne Mall, once the site is available for redevelopment, what are your plans towards making a place to shop, dine, provide entertainment, etc.?
This is a great question. So I've already been in conversations with individuals that are highly interested in redeveloping these areas, providing entertainment, understanding that what we have right next door to us, and not just next door to us, we are a corridor to the beach. We are a corridor to so many different things, not just SoFi, not just Inglewood, what's going on in Inglewood, but so much. Hawthorne is a hub city. And so we want to make this place a place where people come and they want to spend their dollars before going to where their destination is, and at the same time turn around and come right back through before they go home to wherever it is that their town is. You know, and so I'm already in these conversations. I'm already at the table, but I've had to sign NDAs so this way it can stay protected.
My plan for this mall, which is owned by a private person, individual, the city of Hawthorne needs a convention center. A convention center would bring jobs abundantly to our families. It would bring other cities to our families to hold conventions in our city. It would bring tech companies to come and have conventions in our community, which Hawthorne would have this convention center. You would have Torrance, you would have Orange County, all types of individuals on the top level. Engineering companies would come and hold conventions in the city of Hawthorne. We could even have a woman empowerment convention in our city. That's what I see for that abandoned mall for over 20 some odd years.
Thank you. Mr. Patterson?
So I'm share a few things with you about the mall. I definitely have a vision for having a mixed-use project there. But a little bit of information about the mall. You know, before I joined the council, the mall owner was able to make millions of dollars a year keeping that mall closed. And so there was not incentive to do anything different. He was making money from the county, renting out the parking structure, SpaceX, Amazon, and renting out the inside for movies and music videos. And so there wasn't an incentive. There wasn't a pain to do anything different. And he was playing this game of chicken with the city. The reality of it is there's no shortage. There's no shortage of companies that are interested in buying that site or making that site home, developing that site. The challenge becomes how the city is handling this scenario. You know, how we're handling that mall owner and what we're agreeing to or not agreeing to come at that site.
Thank you. Appreciate this question. This is a very controversial site. The owner is in federal prison right now. That's the type of person we're dealing with. Somebody who doesn't want to work with the city. They want to hold on to that land to be able to land bank it and have it rise in value for his children. 10 individuals have already come before us as a council, okay? But they don't go to the individual council members or individuals out in the public. They go to the city manager to discuss the viability and the receptibility of projects. So I just wanted to correct the individual. So there's a legal fight that's before us, a real strong legal fight that we're trying to get won so that we can have this guy sell it or do something with it. It's about time, and we're in a process of winning that battle. Residents are stepping up and signing documentation attesting to the plight that this location, abandoned as it is, has caused on the public.
Thank you. So, by the way, you're a great audience. Yes. So, our next question will start with Ms. Williams, go to Mr. Patterson, and then come back this way. One person has asked, what new policy do each of you plan to implement to support small businesses in Hawthorne?
I would be an advocacy to go to Sacramento, not keep complaining about what Sacramento would like to implement or put in our community. I would go there and advocate for funding and grants to get a convention center. I am dire need and want a convention center to come because it would promote so much revenue and income for the local businesses. You wouldn't believe that how the business around SoFi Stadium and in the new Intuit Dome, which is state of the art, just being there. When the people leave those vineyards, they go right to the local businesses and spend dollars. That's what we need. So I will implement and put forward to working for a convention center, something that would draw revenue for these mom and pop shops, which I own for years in the community.
Mr. Patterson?
As far as policies to support small businesses, we definitely need to be business friendly. Right, businesses have a hard time opening up in our city. You know, if you're a homeowner, you might have seen it's hard to get plans and permits just to make an addition to your home. When businesses come to our city, it's tough for them to get all the permits that they need to open up their business. Right, so we need to streamline that process. We need to create some business incentives so that those who are bringing jobs to our city, right, they get benefits, they get breaks. When it comes to our small businesses need to have a little bit of break when it comes to the taxes, right? One thing that you'll see is Hawthorne currently aggressively goes after our small businesses for so many different taxes and let the big companies slide, right? You look at a Home Depot, they get $300,000 break on their business taxes. Or our small businesses, we go after them aggressively. We need to have a spirit of collaboration with our small businesses. And we need to make sure we have safety nets for those that need a little bit of help.
Thank you. I just want to call attention to Hawthorne Boulevard from Imperial Highway up to like all the way down to 120th, even further to Broadway. So it's a perfect opportunity for all those entertainment and dining locations that we're all talking about. Everybody talks about SoFi, the Intuit Dome, and where people staying. So we've already designated Imperial Highway as a hospitality corridor where we've given incentives for people who want to build hotels. How about we start giving incentives and cap the business license fees and any other perks to these other individuals who want to open up these restaurants and entertainment bars and nightlife type of venues along Hawthorne Boulevard. I think that's where the juice is right now. That could take us to another level.
Just as a reminder, currently I am not on city council, so I'm not adhered to the same rules. So I could have conversations with anybody, like I'm having conversations with our small businesses here in our town that are feeling the effects of a city that they claim to care about them. But if you walk down the business, into the businesses, you'll see that it's further from the truth. I've already started building a collaborative or an alliance with the small business owners, and I have currently 30 members that are part of that, so we can start holding city council accountable and making sure that we're not treated as an individual anymore. We're treated as a team, as an entity. And so the days of bullying people are coming to an end. So I agree that yes, we have to rebuild that Hawthorne area, but we have to worry about the backbone that we have here today before we start losing them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So the next question has been submitted, and I think we'll start with Mr. Patterson and then come back this way. We're going to change it up in the next question. We're just moving around. What is your position on the salary increases and incentives being discussed to keep our police force strong?
So when I first joined the council, I had to fight hard to give our police and the rest of our staff raises so we can be somewhat near competitive to the rest of the region. Hawthorne underpays all of its staff, and it's a crime. Our managers in other cities make more than directors in our city. Our police department, they're not the most compensated. And so because of that, it becomes challenging to hold officers and retain these officers. Now, we have, I believe, a great culture with our police department. I believe our police department can do more, but I also believe they can be empowered to attract quality candidates and maintain them. So just like I have in previous negotiations with those bargaining groups, I've supported bringing their compensation up to be equal to their counterparts in other cities. I will continue to do so, continue to fight for equality in pay.
I think this is we need to pay very close attention to supporting our public safety, both our police officers and our fire personnel. It is true, we've had a lot of, some of our officers move laterally out to our neighboring cities because the pay isn't where it should be. So I propose, and I have proposed, and the whole council has proposed having a salary study to see where we're at so we can make it fair and increase it. And I just want to let you guys know that my plan and my support of the police officers has been proof of that they trusted me, and the two other ladies that I'm working with, Ms. Poindexter and Ms. Johnson, is that they've all granted us their endorsement. Hawthorne police officers endorsed the three of us, alongside our public safety, our firefighters who have also supported the three of us because they trust that we have their back. And that's proof to you guys that we need to work, and we need to work together with them.
Having been at one time a member of law enforcement, I understand the risk that people take when putting on that weapon and going out, not knowing if they're going to come back to their family in the evening. So I am always in strong support of making sure that it is a competitive market for our law enforcement officers, especially because it is very easy for somebody to come and cherry pick your leadership. Now, with respects to endorsements, unions have to protect themselves because this is a political game. And so don't be fooled by people that say, oh, I've been endorsed or I've been this, because it's a political game. And so they can't go away from or steer too far from their lane, because there's always repercussions if that person gets reelected, especially if they get reelected with a team. Thank you.
Our police department and fire department is very, very important to our community, and they have done a wonderful job. And I would really work with Sacramento to see that they have the competitive technology that it is out there to keep our police department and fire department equipped. It is important to have them with the competitive salaries that is on the market, to keep them in our community. It's very important. I would go straight to Sacramento to ask for funding so we could be on the level as other has. But so far, I do really feel that what we have, and for those have left, we still wish them well. And our current police department, I think they have been wonderful with what they have been dealt with.
Thank you. Okay, so for the next question, we're going to start with you. So let's go this way and then end up with Mr. Patterson. We're just doing dancing chairs. So what specific steps will each of you take to promote teamwork on the city council? So we'll start with Mr. Hughes.
Makes the dream work. I think communication in the beginning as the agenda first hits you, and to collaborate together and research on that agenda and have communication. Love. Let's not forget about love for one another. Leave your cares and your disappointments for each other at the door, because your job is for the people of the city. You mustn't forget that. You mustn't stir from that, because we all have good days, we have bad days. And a good prayer is always submitted at the beginning of all meetings. So to have unity and be teamwork, I think that all egos should be left at home or at the door. You could pick them up at the door when the meeting is over.
Yes, it is. What will you do as mayor to promote teamwork on the city council?
So being a veteran, I've been able to travel the world and been asked by my government to build teams in areas that were not the safest to protect the interests of the United States and our partners abroad. So I plan to bring those same skills to City Council, and I don't lead. The mayor seat doesn't give you more power than any other council member there. Your vote is equal. And so I do not lead by myself, I lead with my team. My vote is no more powerful than the person sitting next to me and the person sitting next to them. So I want them to feel like they're just as important as I am. Thank you.
What I plan to do is to continue what I have been doing, respecting my fellow council members and debating the issues, not the person, debating the issues. And unfortunately, right now, what you see is people just getting their feelings hurt left and right. And they're not debating the issues. You know? Proof of that is when somebody's feelings are hurt during oral communication, we've had council women threaten to, or council members, and threatening to sue somebody for coming and expressing their First Amendment right. Is that fair? No. We've also had council members threaten people to fights outside because they didn't like what they said. You want to see the video? We'll give you the date and time to be able to see the video for both of those.
Mr. Patterson?
Promoting teamwork is simple. It's changing the culture at the city, at City Hall, and on the council. And it definitely starts with the mayor's seat. It starts with leadership. You go to other cities, you'll see some cities operating the same, better, or worse. And it has a lot to do with the leader at the helm. And so I believe I have the ability to continue to build better relationships with those that are on the council. Don't need any changes to happen at City Hall or on the council in order to build a harmonious working environment that's filled with respect, right? And that's about serving the community. We all want the same things. It's about electing somebody that really believes the things that we're all saying.
Thank you. Okay, let's see if we get to it. So now the order will be Mr. Aguilar going this way and then down there. This question was also asked of the candidates for city council. How much time are you prepared to spend, 1, to prepare yourself for meetings, 2, attend city functions, and 3, interface with constituents?
Currently, I'm the president of the Hawthorne School District, and I'm already doing the job. And I'm fortunate enough that I have an incredible team behind me through my business that I own in Hawthorne, that they make it available and for me to be able to go to whatever function I need to go to, wherever it is that I need to do, and above. And so we understand the importance of being present, being a leader that is there with the people in the trenches, so this way they feel like we're not just somebody that leads from the dais. And so again, this is something that I'm already doing currently, and I'm going to continue to do that through my role as mayor. Thank you.
My dedication to the residents of Hawthorne is 100%. All the way up until I go to sleep, I'm thinking about things constantly. You should always be prepared for what's to come at the city council meetings. Goes without saying, and it is true. People are flipping through their pages at the dais because they haven't read their materials, and they're just asking questions that take a half hour for something that they could have just simply read the night before. I'm a reflection of you. Hawthorne is a working class community. We have to pay our bills. We have to go to work and do that. Not everybody has the luxury of owning their own business. I work Monday through Friday at the Men's Central Jail teaching adult inmates math and science so that we could give them a second chance. And I also teach at El Camino Mondays and Wednesdays. I'm a reflection of you. We have to pay the bills. And why do I work hard like that? Because I believe that you guys have told us already that it's a part-time job, and I make every attempt to be able to attend the most functions possible.
Thank you.
I'll continue to review our agenda and speak with our staff to prepare for our city council meetings. There's so much kind of gold inside those papers, and coming in prepared allows us to be able to do the best work for the community. And when it comes to the community events, that's probably my most fun that I have in the city of Hawthorne. It's all the great events that we have in the city and give me an opportunity to meet everybody and build relationships and make some new friends and learn something new. We're not out in every part of the city all the time, so we really depend on you to let us know what your concerns are and what's happening in your neighborhood and what we can address. And so that's something that I take a lot of pride in doing, and will continue to make that a priority of being present, right, and being available.
Being prepared before the meeting even starts is very important. Currently, I am vice chairperson for the Centinela Valley School District Oversight Committee, and I'm also been a member for over 6 or 7 years for the Hawthorne Advisory Housing Department. As soon as the agenda are sent to me, you have to study those, and sometimes it takes research. So when the agenda is put together, You have to research some things, and it takes time. And I am committed. As First Lady of the city of Hawthorne, in that mayor seat, you can count on me doing research on those amendments, on those agendas, because it takes time, and may even have to reach out to certain departments and collaborate with them, which is very important. So as First Lady, as Mayor, you can count on me doing my homework. It's homework. It's a business running a city.
Thank you. So next we'll start with you. Are you next? No, you started. Okay, so it's now you. And going that way. Then we're going to mix it up. You are. Are you sure you want to go first with this question? Okay, so here's the question. What is your stance on charter city, for or against? What is your stance on charter city, for or against? You, and then down there.
I'm fully against charter cities because it's just a ploy for council members to get the community to buy in by giving you like the false notion that we need it for economic success in order to increase salaries. We put it out there in 2022, and it failed 60% to 39%. So I voted to put it on there. I was a teammate with these guys, and it failed miserably. I knew it was going to fail, so we wanted to give it a chance. So you spoke 60% to 39%. So now we get about 10 or 11, 12 times this has been brought up at our council meetings to try to put it on the ballot again for this election. I do have power, even though I'm the minority, one person against four, to make enough noise to make it uncomfortable for the rest of the majority on the council to stop the silliness that they're doing. And it's not on the ballot. We need to talk about other things other than padding your pensions, increasing your pay, like the homelessness, public safety, and affordable housing.
Well, I support the people of Hawthorne. So the people of Hawthorne voted against us becoming a charter city or passing a charter, and I support that 100%. The people have come out to community meetings and expressed dissatisfaction for even having a conversation about charters. And I support the community 100%. And I will continue to support the community and the interests of the community. I will continue to evaluate opportunities to serve our city and find opportunities to bring businesses into our city. And whatever the solution may be, whatever makes sense for the community is what I'm behind 100%.
Charter city is something that we call self-destruction, greed among us. That's what would occur. That's why the people spoke in their votes. You see the city of Bell, greed. We all have a little bit of it in us. And I think if it would have passed and went through, it would have been pure self-destruction and greed going on here in the city of Hawthorne. I do not support it. I do not stand for it because it takes us to vote on it to see that it just wasn't for our city. Just let it lay. It don't need to be on the ballot ever again. Look at the city of Bell. Oh, come on. The city of Bell, they regret a lot of things. And so it's like saving ourselves for the people that voted it down. So I'm not for it.
Thank you.
When it first came on the ballot 2 years ago, I was strongly opposed to it, obviously for the salaries. And I had individuals tell me, well, let the community decide. And the community did decide. And so now it's being brought back up, but there's twists to it. I'm only one person. And so at the end of the day, the city council is 5 people. I will fight for, if they decide to try to bring it back, education. I will not allow it to get on the ballot without the community being educated. But at the end of the day, it depends on who's on that leadership, who the 5 individuals are, whether or not it's going to get on there. But I will fight for education. So this way, we are better informed, and we could take it to the voters and once and for all put this issue to rest. It's not on the ballot this time, so we need to stop talking about it. It's moving forward. Thank you.
Okay. So it's almost 9 o'clock, so we're coming to the end of the forum. So you now have an opportunity for a final statement, 1 minute. And so this is how we'll go. We'll go Mr. Aguilar, Mr. Patterson, Ms. Williams, and Mr. Vargas. So you may begin.
My name is Luciano Aguilar. I'm a patriot. I love my country. I love my community. I was asked, why are you seeking the role of mayor before seeking the role somewhere else? Well, in 1995, I took an oath to defend this country from enemies, both foreign and domestic. The biggest threat to us is at the mayor seat. And so that is why I chose to run for mayor. Elect me so I can protect you. Thank you.
No clapping, please.
I'm running for mayor because I was asked to. I was asked to by many residents and many of our staff members. I'm running for mayor because I agree that Hawthorne can have a different future. I appreciate all the elected officials that have come before us that have brought us to this point. But for the challenges that we're facing right now, we need a mayor that has some type of expertise in those areas and has the commitment to addressing those areas. If you drive down Hawthorne Boulevard starting from the 405 freeway and then you cross Rosecrans, you don't have to see a sign to see that you've gone into a different city. There's no shortage of businesses that want our disposable income, and they go and open up around our city. Right on the corner of Rosecrans and Hawthorne Boulevard, we have multiple businesses that are in Lawndale, but Lawndale only has 30,000 people. They can't support the Sprouts, the Mini Target, the Bossa Nova, the brewery, but they don't feel welcome in Hawthorne.
I'm running for the love of the city of Hawthorne. The First Lady of the city of Hawthorne will make history among with all the ladies. We are leaders. We are not followers. We're going to bring a convention center to the city of Hawthorne. And my mission is to deliver experience that enrich and nourish the lives of the city of Hawthorne. Reach out to Sacramento for funding. Bring mental health center to our community. The values are to promote and serve with passion. That's what us ladies do. It is time to make a change in the city of Hawthorne. And I welcome your vote. I welcome your opinion. Please reach out to Lethell Williams and elect me for mayor. And I will walk along with you. I will fight along with you because we all have experience in different revenues and different roads that we have traveled. Please elect Lethell Williams for mayor 2020.
Thank you.
I just want to make a logical argument here for you. We're saying that there's a threat in the mayor's seat and so many things to do. I stand in the minority. I'm 1 against 4. How can one person have a power with 1 vote to be able to make all these awful decisions and to be a threat? That's not true. But what we do have is what I do stand in the way of is people getting away with corruption, talking about pay, perks, and padding your pension. That repeatedly happens. So that's why we need to change the majority that we have on the council. And that's why I ask you guys all to join the police officers, our firefighters, labor unions, in supporting myself and a new majority that consists of myself, Faye Johnson, and Marie Poindexter to change the course of our city and start moving ourselves ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for coming. Let's give them a hand. We want you to know that the League of Women Voters sponsors a nonpartisan website where you can get information about candidates. And many of the candidates in Hawthorne have already filled out their information. It's free for them to do so, and so it's free advertising for each candidate. You can go to the website Vote 411. It's really easy. Vote 411. So on behalf of the league, I want to thank the candidates. I'd like to thank the Reverend for you letting us use your church. This is a lovely place to hold a forum, don't you think? Yes. So give yourselves a hand. They can take those. Oh, no, we have another forum coming.